Welcome back. Now what we need to do is that in the payment button, in the payment page, before we display the payment button, we need to check whether the user has an order or not. Because if user doesn't have an order, we should display you don't have an order so that the user knows that they don't have an order. So to do this, we can remember if you go back to the place order, you will find that in the place order, you'll find that we have in the session the order ID, and we can use this to check whether the user has placed an order or not. So here I'm gonna say PHP, and then I'm gonna say if session if is set session order ID and session order ID is not equal to nothing or is not equal to 0, you can say nothing or 0, then we need to display the button. Here we need to display the button. Here we need to display the button. Else we need to say again PHP. Here, by the way, we need to say curly bracket, only one single curly bracket. And then here we need to say curly bracket and then else, and then curly bracket, and then here we need to close the curly bracket. And we need to say else you don't have an order. So here you can say you don't have an order. So let me explain this. If the order ID is in the session, is set in the session, and it's not empty, it means that there is an order. Then the user here, we need to display the button here. Else we need to display this, but of course we need to use a paragraph instead of saying this. We need to say P paragraph, and then inside that paragraph we need to say you don't have an order. However, this is not enough, because if the user placed an order and removed everything from the cart, this will also be displayed, and we don't need this. Instead, we need also to check the total. So we need to say and is set session total if there is items, or if there are so many items, or even if there is only one single item in the cart and it has a number that is greater than 0. So we need to say and session total is not equal to 0 if there is if these items that are in the cart cost more than 0. Of course they will. If there is something in the cart, then we need to display the button. So here, let me add this in a new line. So we need to check whether the order ID has been inserted in the session, which means that the user has placed an order. And here we should also say session order ID is not equal to nothing or 0. Is not equal to nothing or 0. You can say 0 here, because the order ID is going to be a number anyways, and it's not, obviously it's not going to be 0. It must be a number, and the database is going to issue that number, and that number can be and is going to be a number other than 0. And if the session total is not if the session total is set and it's not equal to 0, then here we need to display the button, and we need also to display the total. So here I'm going to say P, and then I'm going to say total, and then PHP, and then I'm going to say echo, and then I'm going to echo the $sign, and then I'm going to append to it the total. I'm going to say session total. Let me now save, and let's head on over to the browser to test.